meeting to order. On behalf of the Planning Commission, I'd like to welcome our residents and viewers to this regular meeting of December 9th, 2025. On tonight's agenda, we have one discussion item. Before we get into that item, we have the minutes from our November 12th regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? If not, is there a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion to accept the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. With that, then, we'll move into our discussion item. This is pertaining to the MALSZYCKI PELACH property discussion. Tony, you're going to take that.
I am. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members. Yes, Douglas and Janelle MALSZYCKI, they live at 19585 Flagstaff Avenue. They have some interest in selling off some of the family property that they have over in that general area for development purposes. The land is generally located at the southwest intersection of 195th Street and Flagstaff Avenue. In your packet, there are 4 different maps. 3 of those maps deal with the city's comprehensive plan. The first one is the future land use map. Second one's anticipated MUSA staging map, and the third is the anticipated development staging. The future land use map, which I have up on the screen there, which unfortunately it's kind of hard to read. It's a little small, so I apologize. But again, this map is in your packet. The property in question is outlined in red. It is located just north of where the high school is. So if you're looking for orientation purposes, there's a blue area just on the western border of Farmington. This property is literally just north of that. The future land use map shows the northern half of this area guided as medium density residential. This allows for a density range of 6 to 12 dwelling units an acre. And then the southern half is guided low medium density residential, which allows for 3.5 to 6 dwelling units an acre. As far as MUSA itself, that's the next map here. And again, the property is highlighted in or outlined in red. The MUSA staging map shows this area being available for sewer in order to connect into sewer. In 2040, comprehensive plan amendment would be required in order to bring these properties into that MUSA. And then similar, the anticipated development staging map shows this area being developed between the time frame of 2030 and 2040. Similar to the MUSA, in order for those to develop, there would need to be some sort of comprehensive plan amendment to basically change that to a 2020 to 2030 time frame. As far as zoning is concerned, the area similar to the land use actually. The northern half is zoned R3, which is our medium density residential, and then the southern half is R2, low medium density. So they match up with what the land use is, the guidance and the zoning match up currently. There is an attached concept plan that I did include here. This includes all of the 7 different parcels that are owned between the MALSZYCKI and PELACH family, and also shows a portion of the Donnelly piece that is directly to the west. As far as, let's see here, we'll go back. Oh, sorry. There we go. With the concept plan, there's a number of smaller lot sizes. Well, there's a range of lot sizes within the concept plan. It's pretty similar to what we see with a lot of developments these days. From just a product standpoint, we're seeing a lot of smaller lots. We're not seeing your typical 10,000 square foot lots anymore. Those are a rarity these days. But with this larger development, you're seeing a range of lot sizes, and with that, some of them do not meet the minimums within our current zoning code. Therefore, they would likely have to be done as a planned unit development, which again, we've done those largely with almost all of our subdivisions in recent years. So it's not something that's uncommon, but it does allow for that flexibility to meet market demand. So the real reason that we're bringing this forward is to at least have a discussion with the Planning Commission. As I had mentioned in the staff report and in this presentation, there would need to be some comprehensive plan amendments if this were to move forward. As you all know, we will be starting our 2050 comprehensive plan amendment, which is a 10-year cycle that the Met Council requires of all metropolitan communities to complete. We will start that this coming year. We actually have a pretty good start on it, being that we kind of started a mid-cycle amendment 2 years ago. So we have kind of a running start on it. The hope is to hopefully have that done within a year and a half time frame. So, but really we need to at least discuss, as we do have some property owners who would like to, at least in the near term, possibly do something. So that's what I got.
Thank you, Tony. With us tonight, Doug and Janelle, do you have anything to add to Tony's report? Okay, well, and if you do in the future, it's a discussion, so just let me know and we'll give you a chance. I'd like to make a couple comments initially, and then I'll wait till it come from my discussion, but I'd like the commission to consider, as Tony said, that we're going to be reviewing and updating the 2050 comp plan. So we'll come back to that, or I'll come back to that, and how that would deal with amendments and things like that, and the timing. And then the second one is I'd like you to consider the use and traffic of this road, not so much today, but what it's going to be in the future. And again, I'll come back to why I'm bringing both those issues up in my part of the discussion, but I'll start with Commissioner Teskey.
Yeah, no, I mean, overall, I think this looks good. I understand the desire to sell the property. There's a lot of development happening to the west of this in Lakeville, and I get it. Like, it's expanding significantly and fast. So to look at this and update this needs to happen, in my mind, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't have any questions or real concerns at this time other than traffic flow coming, what is that? It's 195th, but then south, is that 200?
200 to be just
Yep.
south, going to the,
County Road
That connects then out to Cedar Avenue.
Yep.
That has become so busy. And we're gonna have to think through that, I think, a little bit, if there's a need for control at some point.
And I do believe the county is looking to do a corridor study
Okay.
on Flagstaff.
Yep.
And that would also include bringing another east-west road
Connection.
over to
Cedar?
Cedar.
Okay.
To the north.
So that roundabout west
Correct.
from 195th.
Correct.
yep.
Yep.
We've seen some initial plans for that road going.
Yep.
We've seen some of those.
But I do believe that's either a next year study, I believe.
So it's,
I will confirm that with our city engineer and let you know, but I'm pretty sure that is something that is a near-term project, or at least a corridor study anyways.
got it. Okay. Yeah, other than that, I don't have any other questions.
Commissioner Winchell.
No, I think my main concern was answered, was the traffic flow through there. And so, just so I have a general idea, the property in question would basically back up to the Lakeville, that development that's going in there now, Cedar and 200.
They don't own, the
Donnelly's own that corner there.
Well, no. All right. So if you look at the map that's on there,
Yep.
the red area is that's highlighted is the piece that the MALSZYCKI's PELACH own.
Yep.
The Donnellys own the piece in between them and our border.
Okay. Yep. Yep. So basically, there would be some sort of wide open land in between,
Potentially.
potentially.
Unless the Donnelly's decide to
Yes,
do something.
understood. And then as far as the residential houses that are there now off of Flagstaff, is that something that's gonna maintain, or is that just development in general? Like, if you were to sell it?
It could go either way.
Yeah.
Okay,
The,
Son's own two of the houses.
sure.
Her sister owns the third one.
Yep.
And we own one, and it could all go
Yeah.
either way.
Understood. Yeah,
yeah.
yep,
The concept plan that's shown there, there's a white void at the very northeast
corner.
corner.
Yep.
That's where the 3 homes are.
We talked to developers, they said that they would put a decent barrier between the present houses
Good.
and the new stuff going up.
Yeah, because I'd hate to,
Whether we sell ours as part of the development or sell it independently and move somewhere else, that's
certainly. Yeah. No, I think it's certainly something to look at. I think it looks good. Yeah.
Commissioner Snowback.
That land east, of there, is that land up for, I mean, are builders looking to build there also?
Just across Flagstaff.
Yeah, yeah.
Have not had a whole lot of interest that I'm aware on that. I believe the house that is on that be the southeast corner. I think that just sold within the last year or so. But no, I don't know that. At least not to my knowledge, nobody's shown any interest in that piece as of right now.
The question I would have is bringing your utilities over there. Is where's the trunk lines that meet up with that? I mean, how
Right
far-
now, there's a Metropolitan Interceptor that was built as with the high school that is actually in 200th Street on the south end of the site and goes over to the Lakeville border. There's also sanitary sewer up by Meadowview Elementary School that could potentially be brought over as well. But there is utilities on the south end of the site.
So it's not like
part of the school district.
it's not like the city's gonna have to extend.
Actually, from a utility standpoint, the site would be actually relatively easy to serve,
Yeah,
all things considered.
because that's why I was asking, is that additional property that's not being developed, like it would make sense to do that first, but if the trunk line and all the utilities are close enough, it won't matter a whole lot what comes first, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the majority of my questions pertaining to how to get the infrastructure there. Thank you.
Commissioner Berg.
Yeah, I had a lot of the similar questions as the other commissioners. If we start the comprehensive plan amendment for this particular piece of land, does that preempt anything else that may be going on in the comprehensive planning?
It would eventually just get rolled into the 2050 plan. One thing we do have to look at being that with the 2050 plan, it's a community-wide
Right.
update. We have to make sure that we're not shorting other areas of growth by adding this into. That's why you do the development staging and the MUSA staging, because we have to. The Met Council provides us certain guidelines, certain handrails, if you will, that tells us basically, what our population, what our households will be in 10-year increments. And they do that with every community, and it's to make sure that we're able to serve them with utilities adequately. So it's just one of those things where if we do a amendment on this one in particular, doesn't mean that it would necessarily create a problem. It's just something we would have to look at when they go through the amendment process to make sure that we're not shorting elsewhere where we're looking at possibly other development as well.
Okay. The reason I asked that, Tony, is for what you outlined, right? If we're thinking ahead, making sure that we are addressing, making sure we as a city are thinking, are we going to be able to serve all the areas that we need to serve?
Right.
We just saw recently I would argue, a pretty significant tax increase from our city. Adding additional residential is concerning for me personally, so I just want to make sure we're thinking through all of those things as we're making some of these
Right.
decisions. The other thing, and I think several others have alluded to it as well, is the traffic concern. There's a very active farm there, as everyone knows, right? There are neighbors, and the Donnellys are always part of the equation. There is that gravel road just to the north of this that connects with Cedar as well.
Right.
So I have to imagine they're looking at that as a potential connection as well. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know.
That would all be part of that corridor study.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest concern as well, is that Flagstaff has got, and 200 Street has gotten incredibly busy just in the past couple years. So with all of the development going off Cedar, I think we just need to be very careful and consider that as well. But those are my concerns.
Commissioner,
You know, one concern I've had in that same corridor is, like, we have a school there and we're gonna add some additional housing. Is there any plan to put a sidewalk that connects to the school there? Just because there's so many cars going so fast, and kids on bikes and walkers, and
Right.
there's tractors. I mean, adding additional households, it's additional people. Like, that'd be easy walk for a kid to walk to school, right? Is there thought and talk on that at anywhere?
Well, with each development, we look at sidewalks and trails as part of any development. We do require sidewalks at least on one side of every street. I do know that we've included trails on a number of developments along major corridors. Take, for instance, Vermilion Commons. We included trail along Denmark Avenue. I could potentially see something like that happening with this development. Getting trail, at least portions of trail in place. I don't know that it would probably be done as a development phase type of situation. Unless the county comes in and does a major project and then includes trails as part of a major project. That could be a possibility, but generally speaking, you see those happen as development occurs.
Nothing along Flagstaff, though? There's no plan at all to have a...
No, I think we would look at that as part of the development.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean,
Review
when I
itself.
drive down that road, I always think of kids, let alone adults walkers,
Right.
when we had the plans for the two developments on the southern side of
Yeah.
Flagstaff, on the west side, there are sidewalks along there.
Okay.
So I would assume that would continue.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna add to that, I think there's a crossover over Flagstaff right there at that roundabout too, so.
Is there?
It's
There
already
is.
built in to connect over to that other side. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure of that.
Anything else, Andy?
No, just a lot to consider.
Okay, I'll go back to my two comments, because I want to set this out there for the commissioners to, at least to think about. First one is, and as Tony mentioned, we're going to be doing the comp plan just next year, you guys. Why would we consider amendments? That wouldn't be a prudent use of staff time, commission's time, council time. Just roll it into the 2050 comp plan. Why, Tony, do you see any reason why we wouldn't?
I think that makes sense. That way we can get a holistic view on things.
I mean, we're right there now. I mean, if this were done, plus, this is one of those where it's moving up in time. It's not right there. So, to me, it's not a rush of this commission or this city to do it right now. The second one, and I talked about the road, and Tony, can you bring up the zoning one you had with the different uses? This might be it right here again.
That's the zoning
This is
map
it right here, yeah.
Yep.
And I asked you to consider what the road's gonna be, because back in the 80s, when I was part of this, you guys, we had residential development come in, and wow, it was great for Farmington. We're getting these rooftops, we're getting growth. And we did it all up and down Pilot Knob. And we talked about this in our workshops with the city council. And I think the future of this road, it's this road, not today, and today you got tractors going on it, but in a different commission, a different council's time in the future, there's gonna be a lot more traffic. And when I looked at the zoning map and I see commercial on the intersection, but I don't see commercial on this whole side, other than way down, you got some mixed use on the highway. But I'm wondering if this commission and if the city council's interested, because we talked about busy roads that we should have, like other communities are doing. They put some kind of commercial on the front, maybe the residential, if the buffer goes behind it.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we start considering it? And Flagstaff, yeah, Pilot Knob's done. We just gotta look at it and say, we gotta learn better next time. But I think this is next time, you guys. I really do.
And Mr. Chair, I'll dovetail on that. When we started the mid-cycle amendment, we had a draft future land use plan that we at least shared with both the Planning Commission and Council. And in that plan was never approved or anything like that. So I want to make that
Right?
clear, but we were looking at the about 12 acres in the northeast corner of this site as mixed-use commercial residential. So that was in that at least draft plan.
Okay, and I think that's a great comment, Tony. I think when we start looking at the 2050 comp plan, I think we should resurrect it and bring it back and at least get people's thoughts on it. Because, I mean, if not, we're gonna have a duplicate of Pilot Knob. We are. I'm concerned with that. So those would be my two comments, and that's why I didn't want to come out with them right away, but I wanted you to at least think about it. I mean, it's a fine development, but it's very similar to what we've seen, as Tony mentioned, and it's, you know, it'll have to be a planned unit development because of the size of lots. But I think we want something new. I think we want something better. Not better, just something to help the residents of this community for what they need. There's a lot of houses. Maybe we need some other types of services. So that'd be my comments. Tony, tonight, you're not really looking for approval or go with the amendment or anything?
No, this was meant to be just a discussion item, get the overall flavor from, or get your opinions on it at this point. Being that, like I had mentioned, being that we are going to be doing the 2050 plan, wanted to have that as part of that discussion, so.
And I think that's a great time to have it. I mean, we're gonna have it anyway, regardless of whether this is there. You know, what are we gonna do for,
Right.
at least for land use and other issues?
Right.
So, after you heard our comments, do you have any comments, Doug or Janelle?
So, what do you mean by the 20, rolling that into the 20?
It's gonna be part of it anyway. We're gonna work, the 2050 comp plan's the entire community, the entire city. And
Doesn't necessarily mean when this will be ready for development?
this will be part of the review of the comprehensive plan of how the city's gonna grow in the future, and the different aspects that are required for the city to grow in the future. It's not just the land, but it's the infrastructure and everything else.
And I'm still confused by that.
I don't think,
How far into the future are you looking for me to be able to develop that?
The 2050 just means that the range, it's always going to be about 20 years out, the name of it. But within that, we look at the, in this case, it'll be the 2020 through 2050 timeframe. And we'll have there'll be portions of the city that will be essentially guided for development within each of those pockets in order to meet certain population projections that the Met Council provides us. So being that it says 2050, that doesn't mean that no development's going to happen until 2050. So it's just the time frame of the plan.
And the process would be the same. The amendment is just kind of a special exception to the comp plan, handled,
Independent of everything else.
yeah, but the comp plan's the entirety, that it should be included anyway, because we're gonna start that in 2026, which is less than 30 days away. So,
The timeline wouldn't change a whole lot, right? I mean, because we'd have to,
You could do an amendment within a couple months.
but
The overall comp plan's going to take a little bit long because you're looking at the entire community. But with that said, I think with something like this and this being that this specific area, I think it's prudent to look at it as part of the overall plan. So,
I would agree. All right. Tony, do you have anything else for tonight?
the only other thing I have is I did provide each of you a hard copy of the 2026 city calendar of meetings. All of our dates except for our September meeting will fall on the second Tuesday of each month. September, we will be meeting on Wednesday, the 9th, due to the holiday. So we got pushed to Wednesday versus Tuesday. So that's the only thing that's different. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you. Anything else from the commission? If not, I just wish you all a safe and enjoyable holiday season, and with that, I look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're officially adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.